All
Welcome
right,
to
ladies.
Good.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Live from the parts unknown. Welcome to the Clem and Claw Show. Every Monday, second and fourth Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is your guy, Clem with me. How are you doing, sir?
We good, man. We good, man. Interesting Sunday. I don't know if anything special happened. Interesting Monday. I don't know if anything happened today. So let's just see.
Yeah. Well, as we know from the last show we had, we there was the kerfuffle afterward. The post fight stuff was probably as entertaining or more entertaining than the
Oh, the
fight
post fight stuff.
itself.
The post fight stuff was way entertaining than the fight. It's still going, people. It's still going.
Oh my God! It
Still,
just so of course, if you have been hiding under the rock in the cat fight universe, you
boy,
can. I mean,
boy.
this has spawned so. Dude, first of all, this first things first. Both women, I'm gonna let Clem talk about it since I want to let him start off first with his thoughts about. Well, we can't tell the result because it has not been released to the public yet. So um, yeah, we're just not gonna talk about that much, that too much in depth. But I will like to talk more about the stuff after.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Where do we start from the after, man? Where do we start from? We got one person accusing another person of cheating. We got another person this. Where do we start? It's just mad.
You just start from the beginning. How did you think the fight was? Do you think it was good fight, great fight? What did you think?
It was an okay fight, man. It was an okay fight. I agree with your assessment of there were quite a few things that were out of line. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to say too much because if you watch the last show, you know what we already said. There's not much more to say about this fight. It was an okay fight, not the best fight, but a good fight. Controversial in a way, also, but that's about it. Very
Um,
controversial.
yeah. So I mean, you read between the tea leaves, you know who won, and like I've always said, all 1-0 fights are not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so things of that nature. But I really wanted to delve in more so about the post match stuff. Oh my God, just the
The
vitriol.
post fight. Where do we start? Like I said, let me
Uh,
finish where I started. One person accused another person of cheating. Another person said, "I didn't know the rules. This is my first time fighting." One of them said. The other one said, don't hire this lady because she doesn't know how to do anything. She bad sportsmanship. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Then her partner in crime comes in and is trying to say she want to set up a fight and blah blah blah. It's it's
it
mad.
was a lot. What this have done. I was thinking about this day before yesterday. I was like, what can I put after this fight? It's so unusual.
Very.
I mean, is probably going to be a watershed moment because the promotion and for Rampage, I gotta give her credit the way she's been promoting. Like she's really been going in on the promoting the fight. Unlike any
On
fighter, usually promoters push as much as Rampage. Rampage has pushed this thing so to the point
mhm.
she's now bringing in a whole new audience that didn't even know we existed to the
You got
front.
that right.
Literally.
You
Now,
got that right.
at the end of the day, how much of it that's going to end up in sales? That's a question that only Reagan can answer. Um, that's a question only she can answer, truly answer. But
Yep.
we can't say that we haven't been lack of trying to trap it because
No.
all my stuff, all the stuff, Rampage has put out, and of course just the back and forth between the two, and so
Yep.
it's just definitely it is probably going to be a watershed moment because there will be some folks 5 to 10 years from now. Their first introduction to the catfight game is going to be this fight.
Yep. Yep.
What does the
Yep.
legacy of this mean? Yes, because there are what people that was getting pulled into it that just was just like, wow, what is this? I ain't never seen this. Oh my God. Wait a minute, they tearing the thong? What is
Yep.
like completely clueless, have no
Yep.
idea how any of this works. If
Yep.
anything. So now it'll be interesting to see what these folks turn into. They're gonna end up being one of a couple of things. They can either end up becoming, hey, I want to know more about this. How can I sponsor? Two, on the shocker, all be so
Or
repulsed, be like they never touch it or they never visit it again. Three, they end up being sponsors to where it's like, hey, I want to get more involved in it. Uh, uh, most of them was men, so it's not like unless they get into the mixing, they're not going to be participants. And then last but not least, and this is the thing I fear the most that they end up being, because you can see at least with the responses in the comments, they end up becoming more idiots, village idiots to the party. And
I
that's
agree.
one thing we don't need. We got enough village idiots. For
I
all
have a
you
feeling
new
we're gonna have
people,
more.
I want you to watch this and understand. Don't be a village idiot. Do not join that fray. You know,
You heard the man.
don't be a village idiot. We
You heard
have
the man. Don't.
enough of
Yes.
there are
Yeah.
enough of you that exist. We don't, y'all like the trench and knocker man. We there's enough of you. And the reason why y'all stay in the trench, there's a reason why y'all stay in the trench. So
Uh,
just
I love it. Yeah, I agree with you, man. You're
don't
exactly
be a
right.
village idiot.
I fear
You
I
could be a
fear more village
participant, you could be
idiots.
a sponsor, you could be, you can just be proposed and say, look, I don't want to see it again. You could do a producer. You might, hey, who knows? Maybe one of these guys may decide to produce. But whatever you do, don't be a village idiot. You can be a fan.
Yeah,
You can be a fan, but don't be a village idiot. Don't be
yeah.
where
We
you
need more fans.
constantly
Yeah,
spamming the girls and all. Which more fans help grow the sport. More fans do grow it.
yeah.
But you don't want to be a
Exactly.
village idiot. Don't be a village idiot. Don't do
Village.
that.
We don't need any, like you said, we don't need any more village idiots. We got too
And for
many
those that
village.
don't know what village idiot is, you are the ones that you keep spamming the girls, keep asking the these people how to, it's like, look, don't spam the girl. Now, if you're sponsored, you put a when you're not, and also the classes village, they never sponsor or support anything at all.
Facts.
They just want
Facts.
to get on, and their clout is just getting a response. That's it.
I agree.
Then they have no interest in helping advance the fight game at all. They have
No
none.
chance.
They
They do
just
not
wasting
care.
time. They're just time wasters.
I like that.
That's
Time
a village
wasters.
idiot. That's a
Yes.
village idiot. Don't
Yeah.
be a
He just
village
gave you
idiot.
he gave you a perfect definition of that.
Don't
People.
be a
We have
village idiot.
way too many. We have too
Oh,
many people. We have too many village idiots, as you said, that ask questions insanely, hoping to get the answer. You know what the answer is going to be. Stop asking these stupid questions. You know
no.
what the answer is going to be. So
In
there's that.
Phoenix's case, what's a little sad is she is probably, and this is kind of hard to do. She's probably the most hated woman in catfight right now. That's
I
a
agree.
lot to go from where nobody heard of you to now
Yep.
in some circles you are the most hated woman. I don't
Yep.
hate her, but
I don't either.
it's just that the you have the fan. It just again the
Damn.
village idiots, the folks that
The
don't
village
know about
idiots
her.
is full
You,
attack mode.
I mean, I'm trying to think. The only just like how there was how in there's certain wrestling blogs that would sit there and talk about this heel run by Dominic Mysterio, a Dirty
Yep.
Dom or whatever he's calling himself now, or they calling him. It's like the booing that he's been getting at all these venues he's going in. Doc is like when you think of different things, like when Randy Orton did this whole Legend Killer thing, and
Yep.
Edge had a heel turn, and some of these other great heel turns. I have not seen the level of vitriol as he's experiencing. I haven't seen it. Not like this. It's
You ain't kidding.
this is next level. Like this is that. I'll put it this way: the last person who I can remember that was hated like this, and it was hated from a standpoint of people wanted to see her fight just to get beat. There was and probably the most famous. There's a debate as far as from Crystal Films, who is the most famous. Some people would say Mary. who was a tough broad who ended up, throwing hands and won mostly all her fights. I think. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she lost one. Then there was this blonde haired girl named Leslie that
Mm-hmm.
folks couldn't stand. She had a mouth and all that, and it was just that she was the girl you love to hate. And
Mm.
and I would say she was like universally like hated, like people hate, and because she drew such a reaction, which is why Crystal I think kept with her. She was all over the fight, whether she was good at it or not, or whether she got a butt kick. It was like if it was somebody she knew she clearly was better than. Oh, shoot, go in there and then just slap her around silly. But with somebody she knew that could beat her behind, oh, she was running scared the whole fight. But
Mm.
but to her point, she definitely helped move product with them.
You
I
got
would
that
argue
right.
she was probably more important than Mary. Because Mary, you knew she was gonna go in there, throw some hands, and win. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't flashy, it was effective. So I like I don't remember nobody this hated since then,
You
and
got that
that's
right.
saying a lot. And this is back when we didn't have no social media. Excuse me, we didn't have no social media. And all we had was some websites and some blogs and stuff, and people would just have to chat down in the comments. Or you had what was freecatfights.com, that
Yep.
website, that chat blog. Other than
That's
that,
it.
you had no way of knowing how people really felt about stuff. Like you got
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah. Oh God, they were just. Yeah. It was rough. It was rough. Yeah. So it's just that some of it, I think it's just circumstances beyond their control, but everyone has to take responsibility for the parts they play, and so and all of this. So it's definitely, for better or worse. There's probably more people that looked into our business. I know I've even seen it with results because I know there was a video circling around that had the show on it. And I
Yep.
was just really being more farcical than anything. I'm like, if you're gonna use us,
True.
at least tag us on it. Heck, worst case scenario, we probably
Exactly.
could have gave you a high fidelity copy if you asked for it. And under fair
Exactly.
use,
Exactly.
under fair use, you could have asked for it. Just throw a media credit. That's all I say. If you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
and so what she did, and next thing you know, I'm getting all these pings, and now I'm getting follows because people I guess, wanted to explore more into this. But for some folks, they just gonna look, stop, say, "Oh my God," or the shock and awe, and then they just going about their day. They're gonna be, "Hey, I want to know more about this." So for them folks that's trickling in, welcome. Clem and Claw Show. We like to have this Catfight podcast, so we like to welcome you to the business, to the industry, in whichever way you happen to fit in. Except for the village idiot, you end up being the village idiot. We don't know you. We just gonna act like we don't know you.
In other words, what's
So,
he saying? If you're a village idiot, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Just
right?
you
Cause
see
we
the
will
back door,
not.
just go. Just walk out
Yeah.
the door. Don't you
Yeah.
walk
Right.
in, walk out.
Yeah.
Right? Walk in, walk out. We
Yeah.
ain't got time for village idiots. So with that
So,
being said, as he said,
um,
man, Miss
yeah,
Phoenix, you might be in trouble after she might be in trouble after some copyright problems. I'm not gonna say too much. You already know what I'm talking about. You might be in
yeah,
trouble.
and I think that's what really for Rampage, as far as watching pressing
Yep.
and all that. I mean, we invited her on the show, so hopefully one of these days she show up. She might show up later this episode. Who knows? But
We'll
she
see.
might decide to call in. The door's open. Door's open. So
Yeah,
um,
we heard her. We would like. I would like to hear what her side of the story is. I already know, but I'm just saying
yeah.
for the people, we would like for the people's sake. It would be nice to hear her
And
side
I
of it. We
think it
know
was
what his
right.
side
And I
is,
think it would
but
be good bookend to all of this madness. Whether if
it's
she was to
madness,
come
man.
on today, that would be great. Or if she came on, let's say, by the way, our next episode will be August 14th.
Yep,
So that I think August 14th, if she couldn't come on today, August 14th would be a great show for two reasons. One, that
that's
would be
fine.
exactly a month since the fight. By then,
Hmm.
Reagan would have released it out, Reagan Kennedy, which you can find the fight if you would like to sponsor it. I mean, support it. when she comes out with it. I think she closed up the sponsorships, so now
Yeah,
it's
she
just a
did.
matter of yeah. So
Yeah,
when it comes out, be following that Twitter account we have listed down below. And I
got it.
think
Yes.
at that point, once it comes out to the public, we can dive more in depth into it. Yeah, and so I think that would be a good episode because now that's exactly a month after it's been out. At least with the fight taking place. So I think that would be good.
Yeah, that was the sponsorship he's talking about was Thursday. That was Thursday. It got shut down Thursday. So if you're asking, stop asking. It's shut down. You're gonna have to wait till you like he said, you gotta wait till
You have
three
to
weeks
wait.
from now when it's on clips for sale. Sorry, people. When you had a
Yeah.
chance to do it, you should have done it. She was posting it left, right, and central
Yeah,
for at least 2 months straight.
I know. Yeah, it's just that, like I said, you got some folks again that was new into the game. Like you had
Yep.
so many people, and part of it again, like we talked with Phoenix after the fight. Um, some of this is you're gonna have as a producer, you're gonna have some sponsors that the folks are going to sponsor later, especially if it's a new fighter involved. We don't know if you're going
Exactly.
to show up. We don't know if that fighter's going to show up or they're going to have an
True.
issue getting there, getting back. Whereas the more
True.
established fighter, we know they're going to show up. We know they know what time it is. They
True.
understand the business, and so whereas when you new,
Exactly.
we just don't know. And now we find out, okay, the fight pulled off. All right, now some folks will be more willing. And again, it's nothing have to do with Rampage, but we had a couple of fights where it was supposed to be her and Paris. It just kept getting pushed back because due to injury,
Yep.
it
And
kept
it
getting
finally
pushed
happened.
back. So you may even have some people that was on that fence that was like, well, the last Rampage fight, I had to wait for. I'm gonna wait to see if she actually shows up. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's nothing. Again, it's not the girl's fault, but it's just that sometimes it's just circumstances beyond your control. So they'll be like, all right, some folks want to wait to see if Rampage come back, and then too with the new girl with her being new, it's like, look, especially if somebody new, nah. We're gonna wait till um we see some evidence, whether some pictures, still pics, trailer video, or what have you, you know, and then we'll come in and we'll support. So
For people, yeah,
fair enough.
for people who saw the fight and is thinking that these two are going to get together, it's not happening. I don't see it happening. The way these two are going at it,
Oh, you talking
I
about
can't
as
see
far
it
as a
right now.
rematch?
I can't see it with these two. I can't see it yet.
I
I can't see it.
I could see it down the road, but it would have to be that there has to be a meeting of the minds first of all, because
Yeah,
if it makes, I think a rematch could generate the key to doing it is the core sponsors. One, do we want to see it again? I think if Phoenix was to go out and prove herself to get some more experience under her belt, and depending on how
hmm
she do that, then we might could revisit this down the line once she get another 2, 3 fights in the system. Then I think it's worth revisiting. That's especially if she's performed well in the next 2 or 3 of her matches. I think if she performs well, there'll be enough generate for a rematch. Matter of fact, I will argue, at least on this side of the pond, we know a friend of the show, Blakey, um, and his folks. They may argue like the Pandora, what was the Pandora and um, the one with Kitty or Star G or somebody. Well, anyway, one of them they
yeah,
had a
yeah,
rematch and the rematch,
yep,
the boss or whatever. One of
yep.
them, I think the rematch, Pandora versus the boss or something like that.
Oh
Was
yeah,
was
the
was
rematch was better than the original. Way
what
better.
right was hyping because of how the first match ended. So there was,
And the
I
second,
remember there was a lot of buzz generated around the rematch. See, that's where if you do a rematch, the buzz generated has to be enough because you're pretty much, again, it's kind of sad, pretty much asking the same sponsors to do the same thing over and put up the same money all over again. So
yeah,
some sponsors may want to do it, some sponsors may not, and then some sponsors may come in or new sponsors, new people will be like, oh, okay, well, they want to run that back. All right, cool. I'm in on it. Let me throw in my 35, 50, whatever. More if I want something customized, something that happened in the fight. So yeah, I think Santana and them, the Mexican catfights, Rodolfo and them. I think didn't they have a fight or something? Or it was scheduled to be this week. I think.
Yes, I don't. I was looking. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked yet. It was kind of confusing. Let me. I don't know. Let me look because I haven't. I don't know. Yeah, it was supposed to be some two new people, Lizette and someone else, a new girl.
Okay.
I think Dulce. Sorry, not Dulce. Yeah, Dulce Queen and somebody and VRFI was supposed to have like some kind of what topless boxing. Is that what it was or something? It was like two different things, two different genres. One was catfight, the other one was uh boxing, which was different. I don't know. Oh, let me pop this in here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know necessarily what became of that or not. Yeah, because I'm looking. I'm going to start looking. I'll get you in a minute. Let me see what's going on with this. Also, our friend Cat for all the overseas people, I think Cat's Review also was supposed to have a fight themselves also on the 21st. I think it was the same day. It was
21st.
Jane and Peachy. I think
Oh, okay, okay. In England.
yes,
Okay.
overseas. That one I know
And
that was one.
and if I'm not
Yeah, go ahead.
mistaken, this has been a minute since they produced one.
Correct. You're
Okay, so
right.
we know
It
Slap
has been a
City
minute.
has done some, but I don't think
I
they
don't think
have.
Slap
No.
City has done anything. They haven't done anything since that last fight they had. It's been a minute.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. Yes. Then there was the Sarah Brooke was supposed to be having a fight,
Was she?
um,
Because I didn't see it.
or I could have sworn, or Sarah Brooke was doing some type of match. It just yeah. So like I said, man, it's just for those in the industry, newbies to the industry. Welcome. However you
Welcome.
stumbled across this podcast. Um, yeah, we're doing Streamlabs again, as powered, right now for at least another month, and then after that, we're going to try to change it and everything. So we'll see, how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, it's
No
supposed to be
rush, no
Lizette
rush.
versus Zabeth and then a semi boxing match, but it was only limited to like 30 people. The first 30 people who sponsor got a special prize. It wasn't for just everyone though. I just read that.
Gotcha.
So they limited to like 30 people. So it's like what you call it? It's what they call a private. What's it called? A private filming or something like
Okay.
that. It wasn't for every. It was basically limited to the first 30 people
Hmm.
who got a special prize. That was the Mexican catfight one. Slap City didn't hasn't done. This is his last catfight. I don't think he's done anything. I know my guy Sweet Fights did the oil wrestling thing again. I think Sonny Ray was in this one.
Question
So
was Sweet Fights the one that made the post that you sent me on DM that basically essentially is like, look, I'm doing what I can do for right now, and yeah.
yeah, yep, that would be me. Yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even mad at him. I'm not even mad at it because like he's right, and you know more about this. He's right. Catfights take a lot of time, more preparation than people know. You know this better, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
better than this. People don't understand how this works. So I can understand him adding oil wrestling to bringing even more money. I can understand that.
Right, having diversified yourself. Yep.
If it's working, it works out. I know about the first one. The first one was good. I don't know about this one. I can't speak on this one because I don't know yet. You know what I mean? I'm reserving judgment on this one. The first one was good because
Mm-hmm.
the first one had Tilly. It had some people that were pretty famous. I will say I ain't gonna tell you who won that one because that was an awesome hour and a half video. I'll say that right now. So it was an hour and a half video. I think it was pins and submission. So, but it was interesting. There was a time limit. After the time limit, then you would have they'll after the time runs out, it was a title. They pick a winner. So, but the famous people were on there. Your Tilly was on there. Your Paisley Prince was on there. I think Lynn was on there. Lynn LaRue, she was on there. The first one. So it was a good one. So check that out. I
Right,
think
right,
it's
right.
still on his Gumroad page. I think it's last time it was $25. I don't know if it went up or down. I haven't checked.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Other
And you
than
know,
that, there's nothing. Other than that, there's nothing to talk about in the Cat Fight news. Really, there's nothing special happening.
and there's nothing
Really,
between now and the next fight, August. August is always kind of a tough month to do a fight,
it is.
just because
It is
if the fighter has any kids, you're spending all August trying to get them settled and get them squared away.
Yeah.
If you have college, you have to start college before they start high school in most places,
Correct.
unless you got some
Correct.
kind of summer school thing where you can clap. But yeah,
Yeah, man. School is coming out, man. It's crazy. The summer's getting shorter and shorter for these babies, as you would call them, shorter and shorter and shorter. It's like, wow, mad. But anyways, you're exactly
yeah.
right. August is a very difficult month, and so is September. September is a difficult month too because you're in the middle of football season. Sorry, not middle, the start of football season. Then you also have, like you said, college, pro. It's September is hard. Like you said,
Oh yeah.
school, extracurricular activities after school if you have kids. So
Mm.
that's a very, very difficult month. September, so August and September are a very difficult month. It seems like most of the producers are what October, November, October, not November. November is hard too. So it seems like October seems to be a successful, month where you can get at least one or two fights if you're fortunate, or you see one or two. That's just my opinion because November is very difficult with Thanksgiving, like you said, and then the 2 week period. Then you got December, then you got Christmas. So yeah, yep,
Mm.
yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just in deep thought, just how far the business has come, man. It's just like I said, every month we've had something. So this month will be the first month where,
Nothing happened.
right, we will have a single fight. I am working on one. Um, hey, I would love to get in August, but August or September, at least before. My goal is to put out something, knock on wood, something by Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, Christmas
Sounds
at the
good.
latest.
Sounds good.
Something. I need something. I need a way.
Yeah, August is gonna be hard for you. So is September because, like you said, your
Right.
your your job is not helping you. Your job's not helping you. You're gonna be so focused on this
Right.
college football stuff that it's gonna be hard for you to get a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing would have been soon, but August is very difficult. September's gonna be hard, and October's gonna be even worse for you.
Very difficult, but not impossible.
Difficult, not impossible though. It's possible. It's just that
Wow.
it's gonna take a lot of logistics. You gotta move stuff around, and the
Right.
girls gotta move stuff around. I know you're gonna move around stuff. The thing comes
Right.
down to the girls and working with their schedules and all that stuff, and everything else.
Yep.
We'll see though.
Let's
I'm
see.
confident you'll get something in. Hopefully, I'm confident you'll get something done before November. I hope. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So I've been doing a lot of traveling, and so in the last 48 hours, so I'm so tired. I was just like, oh, it's just a
Yeah,
lot of
I know.
traveling.
Yeah, I know this is off topic, but lately the media days have been going off left, right, and central. We went from the Big 12 media days to the SEC media days, and now actually the SEC media days. I think they just wrapped up. Did they wrap up? Today's
Now
Sunday.
I know
They wrapped up.
tomorrow you have Conference USA and you have Conference USA, Sun Belt, and America are all in the
Yep.
next 2 to 3 days.
And right now the Pac-12 is doing their media day. I know that because I seen some excerpts from Colorado. I seen some from Utah. I know Washington's quarterback Penix is talking, so they're doing Washington too. USC, I know USC is because
Mm.
Caleb Williams was talking. So was Lincoln Riley. So right, they got the main hitters were doing things right, but we'll
Hmm.
see. Like I said, for people who don't know, the Big 12 media days. If you watch out the YouTube videos, they're going. I think they're in Las Vegas, but watch the videos. The Big 12 had theirs in Arlington last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. I know the SEC had theirs in
Hmm.
Nashville. We're still waiting on the Big Ten and the ACC, right? I think that's your Power Five conferences. And like you said, Conference USA, American Conference, and the Sun Belt will be coming up this week
Hmm.
at some point. And people, college football is coming. I think it's like 38 or 37 days left. People, the countdown is on.
Countdown has begun.
I think August 26th is when the first college
Week
football or
zero.
zero.
which I would never understand as long as I live. Week 0.
I still don't understand that. Whatever.
The beginning of the season should be week 1.
Thank you.
First game of the season, not week 0.
Week one. Week one. Someone tell me why is week one? Why is week one September 2nd? That makes no sense. I mean, like you said, it's week one. Week one, like you said, should be August 26th, not September 2nd. But whatever. Whatever.
I agree
We
with
move.
you.
We move. Anything else we have to say, man?
Nope,
Because
nope. Because like
NFL
I said,
training
I'm
camps.
tiring out.
Yeah, because NFL training camps are about to start too.
Uh, I'd rather discuss that next episode.
We ain't gonna. I'm bringing it up. I'm not talking too much on it. I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah,
That's it. That's pretty much it, people, for the show tonight.
yeah,
Like I said,
yeah.
as we always say, I forgot to do my monologue early. Did you say second and fourth Mondays at 9:30 p.m.? Did you say that early? Because I kind of
Yes.
forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
so he said that already. For people in the Central Time Zone, 8:30. For you people in the West Coast, 7:30, etc., etc., etc. Anyways,
Right.
here comes, here comes our taglines.
Social media mine is Thoughts Web of Twitter and IG.
And mine is Clem Akufa on Twitter and Clem underscore Akufa on IG. And people, I probably won't be on my social media this week because I'm gonna be on focus mode, take a social media break. I'll be back on it next week.
Okay. And yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, we was looking forward to having an interview today. I'm not sure we're going to have that interview. We're going to take a break, and then if we come back from break, then we'll have the interview. If not, then we're going to. Then this will be just considered the end of the show. So,
Correct.
like I said, we like to, Clem, safe travels on the road. Like I said,
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
worn out. God bless. Yes, I've literally nodded out.
You ain't the only one. You don't feel
I'm
bad.
like,
I fell asleep. I'm
Lord,
gonna feel
I'm
asleep
just
too.
trying to hold on, but we gotta give the fans what they want, give them the show they want. So push it through, push it through, push it through. So
We have to give the
yeah,
people what they want, man.
yeah. So we
We
push
have to
it
give the
through.
people, even though
Even as a
everybody's
producer,
tired. Yeah,
you have not produced a cat fight until you produce half sleep. You're trying to edit and
that's
you
true.
miss the half sleep.
That's true.
You have not produced enough cat fights if you haven't produced one half sleep. If you
That's
ain't
true. I can
trying
agree
to
with you.
edit one half sleep. Yeah. So
Fans will never understand the life of a producer, man. We will never understand the life of a producer. Boy.
all right.
And I've talked to
All
a few of them. I'm getting a first-hand lesson, a rough first-hand lesson in this.
yes. All right.
All
Well,
right,
I
we're taking a
will.
break right now, people.
We're
We'll be right
taking
back.
a break. Yes, and thank y'all so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the break. And so, with Clem is on the road. He's en route to St. Louis. Going from Oklahoma, so he gets out of the state. He crossed the state borders for once. So it will be Kaiser Calls Web here, taking us in with our special guests, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, distinguished members of the media, honorary members of the royal family. I present the one, the only, the legend, Johnny Ringo from Female Wrestling Channel.
Now, not children of all ages. Not children of
Oh,
all.
that's right. Right, okay. No
I'm a
minors
very
under
obscene
18. Okay.
character, very obscene. So you better have your filter button ready. You know.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I can't do. And I want to make sure I get the lower thirds and all that, Ladies and gentlemen, special guest. Yeah. So actually, I
Absolutely.
need to point it that way. Special guest. I forgot it was flipped backwards. But yes, Johnny. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Oh my God, this has been. I know for me personally, I have enjoyed you guys' work. You guys was fun. I don't know when you guys got started. I'll let you talk about a little bit about the history or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, I know some of our folks would be like, Johnny? Why Johnny? Because the thing is, and this was one of the things I talked with Clem about, was branching out more than just pure cat fights.
Yeah.
You have so many strains of female combat.
Yeah.
Whether you have people that do sex fights, you got people that do competitive matches. You have people that do NAGA tournaments. They just keep it just strictly amateur, grappling with no blows or nothing. You have some people that do just fantasy stuff where everything's scripted. They don't do
They're all
anything
over the
competitive.
place, ain't it? Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Big bag.
And
Big bag, yeah.
yeah, and it's amazing how far the industry has come in so many years. Because I remember in the beginning, it was you had a war. First of all, I wanted to let you introduce for those who may not know who you are and
Sure.
female wrestling channel and all that. I'm gonna let you take it away.
Hey, no problem, my friend. So, anybody watching, my name is Johnny Ringo. We started the female wrestling channel in 2012. And so we're now on year 11, if you can believe that. And I kind of got what everybody's fantasy is to start out. I got two girls that I was dating to actually go at it in a match, right? So, I basically, I got all the excitement right off the bat. And then from there, it's been all downhill. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually been great. But that's how we started. We got to start that way. I got to see that and everything. And, even Monroe herself, she had lost those two matches. And by the third match, she was pretty much like, if I don't win this, I don't think I'm going to be sticking around type of thing. I'm not going to be a whipping doll out here. And luckily she won it, because if she didn't, history might have been quite different, because I don't know that she would have stuck with it like she has, because she became very good at it over the years. She can whoop me now. She's so good at it, but it's a long progression to get there. And in relation, just to kind of tie the whole podcast together and everything, to tie things in with what you do. I had started with a website called the Catfight Report. I had a site called the Catfight Report and another site called the Catfight Fantasy Girls. Do you remember those?
Yes, I remember the Catfight Report. Whoo, dark ages, man. Dark ages.
I'm telling you.
Ooh.
And that website, I almost wish I would have never, taken it down. It got so much traffic. I think in some cases it gets more traffic than my site does today. That's how much traffic that Catfight site got. It was crazy. And I'd done some really good interviews with girls around the industry, at that time. And I always wanted to get to the kind of the meat and bones question, which was, would you catfight with another girl? Have you catfight with another girl? And if so, please spill the beans. What's the stories? That's what we want to know. One thing that I did get, I don't know if you've ever seen this. I think your viewers would be quite interested in this, but I had done a collaboration with Double Trouble, DT, back in the day. And they were working with Tylene Buck at the time. Do you remember Major Guns?
Ooh, yes, Major Guns, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like her, Conan, was it like Taz, like all of them back
you
in
nailed
the day?
It. Yeah, that whole group,
yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a good story. So I had written an interview for her, asking her questions about, had she been in any catfights or anything like that. And she actually described on video. I have this video. I can still pull it up if you want me to send it to you guys. You can post it, if you want to post it for free or whatever. And she does this interview where she's answering my questions. And she describes this cat fight that she got into, or almost got into, I don't remember, with Kimberly Page, from Diamond Dallas's Page's girl.
Page's wife, yeah.
Yeah.
A girl at the time, yes.
And so, she was still kind of talking like, yeah, I'll do this cat fight type of thing. Tylene Buck was. So I tried to get a hold of Kimberly Page, and I got a hold of her boyfriend. And I remember his message back to me was something akin to there's a better chance of Kimberly skateboarding to the moon than doing a cat fight. So it's pretty much just a hard no. We weren't going to get that going. But I thought that might be a story that your listeners might like.
Oh my God, yeah! You talk about bringing back stuff from the depths of the dark ages, because and I've said on the show before, I've been a fan in the industry since '99, going all the way back to Heather Fine and oh God, when you said Tylene, but boy, back when the only thing you used to, like with California Wildcats and Video Sports Limited when they used to be in the back of like pro wrestling magazines. They were having in the ad section and the
Yeah.
far back.
The
That's how
back
far.
page, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's how far back I go. Oh God, I'm trying to remember what's the first video I ever bought. I'm trying to remember. It's dark ages, dark ages. I
Yeah.
want to say it had to be a Crystal Films. I think it was like one of the Crystal Films, old school
Yeah, they were big. Yeah.
Crystal Films back in the day. I want to say that was like my first one that I bought. And then, but I would say one of my mentors was Renee from Shot Renee Green Eyes.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
so she's definitely was going back then. And I know you guys have always been, like you said, having the dream of having someone with you, and then I know Moreau has been with you for years. What is the I would say the secret sauce? Because it seems like every successful promotion, fight league promotion, whether it's wherever end of the spectrum you have that one anchor. Like
Yeah.
everyone has that one anchor. In the case of you, you have Monroe Jameson. In the case of Crystal Films, you can either point to either Mary or Leslie. I
Yeah.
mentioned this earlier in the show about Mary and Leslie. If you go back to even like Fresh Fight, it started out with Tia, and then it ended up being I'm Sammy the Bull.
Oh,
Sammy.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
see.
it's like everyone has that, or even if you go back to DWW days, you
Yeah.
had Eva and Louisa and all those girls, and then you have folks like Kim Lee, with fighting dolls and and stuff like that. So everybody seems. So what do you think is the secret sauce? Is it that one girl is what you build the whole thing around, or you just try to get a smorgasbord so you don't burn that one person out? Or
The challenge is, like, first and foremost is that, like, we're not great big companies like the WWE and UFC, and that's of course is our biggest challenge because, like when you're trying to get a girl to do a cat fight, for example, like, in some ways to them, that's more extreme than a UFC match. Like, so, the challenge is that, like, in my view, the thing has always been that, like, if you got girls going in physical competition and it's real, our job as producers is to try to find a way to get the revenue up for the girls and obviously ourselves so we can pay the bills and continue producing. So I mean, I know that, like, you have cat fights going and everything, and that's good, but they're hard to put together. Like,
yes,
they're way hard, and female versus female real matches are hard to put together, but cat fights are another level. Like, so what you do is kind of the top level of hard. So if you get frustrated in your recruiting and all of that, like, you have to understand that, like, what you're doing is the top level of hard because biologically women, fighting is usually against their biology. So we're kind of like, we're flipping the script here with what we're asking them to do. And that's always going to be the biggest challenge. Like 95% of the girls in the world, I don't care how much you pay them, they're not going to do this. Like, you got to find that 5 or 10%. And, those are the ones you try to cultivate, but they're never going to be long-term because, they're more into, I want to have a family, I want to have kids. This is a thing that I did, on the way there. And, you're just going to get very few girls that stick with the industry like they are going to, like a baseball player, an MLB player, like saying that this is my career. There's going to be very few Cheyenne Jewels. There's going to be very few, of those types. And I think that we just have to kind of bake that in as an expectation, like, and just say, what I try to tell the fans is that, like, look, getting two girls together for a match is a miracle. You have no idea how much shit goes,
yes.
like, there's so many flakes and reschedules and fear. I think the biggest thing that happens a lot of times is just fear because it's real and they're putting their pride and their bodies and everything on the line and they know it, and it's on video, on top of all that, so, like, for them, there's a lot stacking up there, that like, we don't really feel on the producer side because, we're just trying to make money and service fans who like this type of thing. They're thinking, man, am I going to get my eye poked out, You know, am I going to have a chunk of my head, gone, after this? I mean, so it's tough what you do. I mean, like, just so you know, from another producer, I've only produced 2 cat fights. And they weren't what I would really call cat fight quality. They were set up where they could hair pull, but they did very little hair pulling. It was Briella and Monroe, and then Monroe and Electra, back on 22, and they did very little hair pulling. Carmella did some hair pulling illegally a few times, but we've not really done the level of cat fight that you have, just because I've not been able to find those type of girls.
I am still on my quest on the Holy Grail. So
you are, man. You're at the top. You're at the hardest. This is the hardest thing, and if you solve this. And if you solve this, you have more. I mean, like, look, there's more people in this industry interested in cat fights than I think maybe, because you're talking about what a mixed bag it is when you're starting a show here. You're talking about how, what we start finding as producers is we want to produce this one thing. But what happens is, like, everybody's kind of injecting their favorite thing into it and telling you, this is what's going to sell. And this is what's going to sell. And from our side, we're like, man, like, I've heard this so many times. Like, I understand that you like it, but just because you like it doesn't mean everyone else likes it. And trust me, we find this out all the time. Like, I mean, like, it's a very diverse crowd. But what I will say is that, man, there's a lot of cat fight fans, and they just want a good, hard fought, genuine cat fight. And, it's just, I don't think that they maybe they understand, maybe they don't know how hard it is for you to put these together.
Right. And you definitely hit the nail on the head. And that's one of the things, it's part of the reason why when me and Clem got together to do the show, the dream was like, and I'd say, I don't know if you've been on or how many of these you might have went to the Jitsi meets. How like now the whole thing is not only do you shoot, and this is probably as a broadcast professional guy in real life is what I do. I think this is probably the one thing I can say if I left my mark any point of the legacy was finding a vehicle to where those who sponsor can watch the proceedings live, through Jitsi and things of that nature. And so that's adding another layer for producers what they're already trying to do. But
and the thing is that as soon as you do that, I mean, like, we're in an industry that doesn't really have a lot of new ideas. I mean, like, like I'm trying a couple new things that are coming up here, and I have resistance because they're new ideas, right? You're always going to have that. But the thing is that, as soon as one producer goes live with a live stream, I mean, every other producer is going to do the same thing. And that's fine. I mean, like, I just think that, like, really as producers, like, the best thing we can do is just try to find what we believe to be the most attractive girls possible in terms of what people will buy and put on the best match possible. And, at the end of the day, trying to figure out how to make everybody involved as much money as they can so they'll keep coming back.
So when I first met Clem, that's how I met Clem. And one of the things we always dreamed of doing is making this kind of like how Ariel Hawami would have after UFC at the desk, and they would sit there talking. The fighters would come, and with Tilly and some of them, they do that. They'll come back on afterwards. The girls will talk to get that instant feedback because especially us as sponsors, we care about the whole production. Just more than just, hey, we just want to see a good cat fight. We care that the producer gets paid. We care that the girls are safe. We care that they get their money. We care that they get back safely. And getting that instant feedback for them, it's like it helps them because sometimes as a producer, you can sit there and talk. And you've been telling them, and it looks like it doesn't get through. But yet somebody else who hadn't been in the room, sat there watching, say the same thing you said, and then they'll be like, oh, like, duh, now the light cuts on. I'm just happy the light cut on, and so they have that, and it kind of gives that extra impetus, to the fact that for the girls, it's just having that feedback. I think the benefits far outweigh the risk, and that's another reason why we did the show, is so that way from a producer standpoint that fans like Clem and all that can understand all the different machinations that go into it. You have what I call the fatal foursome. Like anytime that I have a girl ghost is one of 4 reasons. One, her cell phone or whatever died and she just lost all communication with the outside world. 2, she overslept. We get that a lot. 3, she got in a car accident or some type of transportation accident. But yet yeah, to the point where she still couldn't call nobody and let nobody know. Or four, she has medical condition, and when I know some
Yeah.
ladies refer to it as Aunt Flo, what have you. You have other things that's beyond their control, and yeah, and so which I
Yeah, yeah. And
understand.
let me speak on that for a second, if
Yeah,
you don't mind. I mean, do
no,
you mind if I take over for just a
no,
second?
no, 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 no. Go ahead, go ahead. Oh,
Because on that particular point, I mean, like, that's kind of and I'm going to be talking more to producers and guys with wives and guys that deal with this stuff. I mean, you have to, you have to understand that, like, because everybody they want these women to come out and do these matches and stuff, and like, I read some ancient stuff and just kind of realized, like, through a long time that fighting is like secondary, like, like their main thing that they use is their cunning, like, what I mean, like, it means that they lie, like, what I mean, like, they're very good at lying. There's a lot of women that are very, very good at lying, and like, it's funny, like, if you say this to their face, a lot of guys think they're going to get matched or something, but they actually smile a lot of times and they're like, yeah, like, what I mean, like, yeah, I know, what I mean, like, and so, it was something like when I was early on as a producer, I would get mad a lot at how much these girls would lie. And I started thinking I was living in Westworld, like the TV show where everybody's the same, the robots, right?
hmm.
And so, I had some trouble with it early on, because I kept getting pissed. Like, I kind of had this old school mentality, like, you said you're going to show up and you said you're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And, I had more of the hard approach, when I first started. And, I've softened that a lot over the years. And, a lot of the reason for that is just because, like, I realize that, like, when I don't want to do something, it's just their defense mechanism. Like, a lot of times, and it's not usually personal. It's not usually against me or against the company, or, they're not trying to screw over the sponsors. They're not thinking about the sponsors. They're thinking about themselves. They're worried. They got too much butterflies that day. They can't get the butterflies to stop. And so their natural thing that they do is they make up an excuse. And that's why a lot of times, like, what happens with guys like you and I, we're all set up, we're ready to go. We got the other girl there. It's maybe 30 minutes, an hour before the production, and we get a text that, like, my kid's got a rash, or, I just got in a car wreck. I've had so many girls just get in a car wreck right before, but they didn't get in a car wreck. You investigate later and find out they didn't get in a car wreck. And so, there's a point where, like, you got to stop getting mad about this stuff and say, okay, like, this is part of the business that I deal with, and this is the way that they primarily operate. It doesn't mean that all women operate that way. They don't, because there's exceptions to the rule. There are women who don't act that way, but they are exceptions to the rule. And, a lot of the women that we deal with are going to do that type of thing. And so, for these guys that think that they're going to be around forever and stuff like that, they're not. That's why I keep saying, like, if Kaiser's putting up a thing for a cat fight, you can't sit there and assume that these girls are going to be around 3 or 6 months or 12 months and that you're going to get another shot. I'm telling you, you better take it when you get it, because, like, these girls live in the moment. And a lot of times, like, the only reason they'll say yes is because they need money at that time, or maybe they're in between boyfriends, because as soon as they get with a new guy or something like that, they don't want to make their guy mad. And then a lot of times they dump us. They dump us. They don't dump the guy. They dump us. Maybe 2 or 3 years later, they'll dump the guy and come back. That's why you'll see girls come back at times, but they dump us,
Yes,
so.
you definitely nailed it on that. The fourth one, I should say, is not the unfloat. The fourth one is somebody died. Somebody's always
I got
dying.
that one too.
Yeah, somebody's always dying. It's like every time
Yeah,
you get ready to do, somebody's always dying. I mean, all I have to do is look at Facebook. They're gonna give you the memories of somebody that died, and then you just get all sad all the way. I'm like, okay, somebody's already dying.
it's
There's a
bullshit.
few. There are
Well,
weddings and funerals every weekend. I get it, but if I just,
right.
but
Well,
it's like,
and the
yeah,
key is that, like, I don't talk. I just say okay, or, like, give me a
right,
doctor's note or whatever, because, like, I don't get into, like, whether they're lying or not. I don't really
yeah,
care at this point. I mean, because
just
there's
like,
nothing you can do at that point to get them there anyway.
mm,
Like,
yeah,
I
just
mean,
like
once
you
they
said.
say that I'm out, they're out. Like, and that's it. I mean,
Just
like,
like you
there's
said,
nothing.
I used to be that guy when it was at the beginning, all upset. And then, like,
Yeah,
after a while, once I started picking up the pattern, I'm like, oh, that's what, for me personally, and I think I may have said this in this episode and the last episode, I said, in a perfect world, I just want to be the guy that just shows up, shoot, edit, God bless you, and go
right.
home. I don't want to deal with what I call talent relations.
I understand.
in talent relations, yeah, where you have to deal with all the mechanics of dealing with the talent. And I
Yeah.
found out even the small success that we've had is that when the girls recruiting themselves each other goes way further than what I get it. I'm a guy, they don't know me from Adam, whatever. I grew up in a house full of women. I'm the only boy. They don't know that coming
Yeah.
in.
Right.
And just so when you deal with something like Flo and all that, oh, okay. I understand you can be embarrassed. That's why for some of them, I'll just mention it up front. So that way that gets that elephant out of the room. So if you wake up on match day and you say, hey, I got a medical issue, all right,
Right.
fine. Because and try to keep cognizant of all of that in scheduling, and when I advise them of that, and if anything, it endears me to them because then they realize, okay, he gets it. So if the cramps
I mean,
hit,
my thought. I'll tell you my thought. I mean, I again, like people get matches done. I've gotten a bunch of matches done, but nowadays, I am never pre-announcing a match ever again. I'm going to shoot the match, and then when it's done, I'll put the match up because I get sick of guys getting disappointed that their favorite girl didn't show up, or like I got to refund their money or something like that, and
yeah.
I'm sick of it. Like I'm going to shoot the match, and then they can be like, oh wow, so and so came back, but the match is done, rather than like the hype and speculation with it because it's just I've tried everything. I've tried everything, and like I've tried. I've tried the logical approach. I've tried the hard hammer approach. I've tried the, the contractual approach, the non-contractual approach. I just they're just the way that they are, and there's very few exceptions to the rule, and the thing is like usually what we do is on the bottom of the list on the totem pole of things that they want to do. And we get treated accordingly like that. You know what I mean? And that's just what we have to realize. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't get mad about it. The only thing that matters to me is the girls who say yes. That's
I'm going to say what my old mentor told me once before. We are not the bottom of the totem pole. We are the dirt beneath it.
Nice. That's nice.
We are the dirt beneath. I was like, what? I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
we are the dirt beneath. I was like, wow.
That's
But
good.
as I gotten older, got in business now, I understand. It's like I get it now. I get it. Now,
Well, yeah, I mean, like you got women know that they would prefer to go strip before they'd go fight another girl. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's like that. It's tough. I mean, like, it's one of the toughest things to get a female to do. So I mean, and that's why I think that really ultimately, the big thing for you and all the catfight producers to figure out is like, you got a lot of fans. It's like, how do we make this profitable, for the girls and you guys as the producers, because you're doing the hardest level, in my opinion.
The thing that gets me is that, and I've had matches where the girls would compete and then they would go get their hair done and then go to the club at night, and then they
But
would
those
tell
are
me,
rare. I mean, like,
right, those it was rare. It happened to
Yeah.
it was just one group of girls of 4.
Right.
And what would be so funny is they would tell me the next time they would come in for training how these guys try to hit on them, and it was and they may have like a little bruise or something, or whatever. And then the guy would be trying to be extra. Oh, you got some dude? No, my girl. Oh yeah, we fought. We had a good match and stuff. And they were like, no, you did. And then of course you always will have like a little sample for them for the girls so they can promote themselves and promote the brand. And so and then boom. Next thing you know, now I'm getting fans. And these dudes like, oh my god, like I can't believe this is the thing. Like, you know. And so
it's not hard to sell guys on the cat fights. I mean,
I would say I wanted to add. There's 2 things. The next question I wanted to ask was your opinion. I know some producers are split on from a producer standpoint because this is the thing with Clem. I'm like, Clem, you're not a producer, so you don't get it. I said,
Clem's smart, man. Clem's smart.
He is. Clem has come such a long way.
Yeah,
he has come. Oh my God, such a long way. Because now he gets it when I have to start. He's like, "Yep, y'all got to get it."
Oh yeah.
He's like, I used to be like y'all and ask all the questions. And once you get past the point, once you believe, like wait a minute, what you think is real and what is real is 2 different things.
Yeah,
it's like being Dr. Oz, behind the curtain. So, what is your opinion on the girls meeting before or having any kind of correspondence before the match? I know some producers hate it. Some producers don't mind. I the type of guy I don't mind because I want to have where we have like a Zoom call or something like this before we meet, so that way everyone's on the same page. Everybody hears the information. If there's any concerns, we can get all of that in the open before we have the match. not unlike the UFC press conference.
Yeah, no, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, like, ideally, you know, what you're selling in your videos is tension. You know, you're selling emotion. You know what I mean? So, you know, ideally, the best tactic would be, if you could set it up this way, would be for them not to talk. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, not to have them have any interaction whatsoever. Now, that's not how I do it. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, you know, like, I mean, if you're going to have a big match and, you know, it's a big money match and you want them, you know, because, you know, the issue is that, like, you know, they're going to find a way to find rapport with each other. And then, like, you know, there's a good chance they're not going to go as hard when the match starts because, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, we've got girls even now. I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, we've got girls on the roster now that fans respect and they think are tough. But, you know, those same girls will sit there and say, oh, well, I won't take this girl on because she's my friend. Or, you know, I won't take this girl on because, like, you know, like, I don't know. I just, you know, it just wouldn't feel right if I took on this girl. You know, we've known each other too long. There's always like these like little petty excuses for like why. And I find that the more that girls do competitive, the more that those excuses happen because most girls, they can make pretty good money just doing scripted, you know, and not have the physicality of it, you know, and that's why I keep telling the fans, like, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to be like Mr. Moneybags and like, you know, like stuff my pockets. You know, the thing here is like, I'm trying to say that, like, if you want somebody to do something that's outside the norm, you know, you're going to have to pay them a higher price. And like, you know, my thing that I've been doing behind the scenes is just finding investors and stuff because the girls are, you know, the girls could be found. I mean, it's hard, but the girls can be found. I mean, like, you know, what's really hard is finding guys that are willing to put money into it that aren't constantly bitching and complaining about their wives and girlfriends and, you know, constantly making them an excuse as to why they can't participate. Like, you know, because, you know, we can all still have a good discussion on these podcasts about male and female biology and about like how females will do what men allow. Like, you know, so like, you know, if you guys sit there and roll over all the time and, you know, keep rolling over, she's going to keep pressing the button and you're going to keep rolling over. But, you know, eventually if you put your foot down and, you know, it's going to be a little hard for some of you guys that have been betas all your life. But like, you know, if you put your foot down and you start, you know, defending yourself and not being an asshole about it and yelling all the time and you can control your emotions. I mean, you know, a lot of times, you know, you're going to be the leader of the house, like, you know, and so you can do these things. Like, you know, I mean, and, you know, because I'm just, that's the one thing that I don't like about our industry is that, like, you know, all these guys use their girls as an excuse for what they can or can't do. And, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a man or you're not. And I understand that sometimes your wives need to be involved with these things, but, you know, if it's something that you really like this much and you're going outside and you're doing it secretly and privately, you know, she's going to find out about it. And you're going to have a big blow up and it's just going to be way worse than just coming forward and being honest about it. You know, I've got 11 years experience on this. I mean, like, you know, and it's not like my girlfriend is the only person I've ever talked to about this. I've talked to a bunch of fans about this and they all make the same mistake. You know, they think that their situation is different and my wife's different. You know, oh, you don't understand, my wife's different. And it's like, no, she's not. You know, it's the same thing. Like I told you, the girls are like Westworld. Okay. Like, you know, most of them are pretty much the same in the way they operate and respond to males and the things that we do, the stupid things we do, you know, because like, you know, like we have a saying Monroe and I will say is that we say men are dumb, you know, like us. And I include myself in this group, men are dumb and women are insane. Like, you know, and every time we say it to women, they laugh because they're like, yeah, that's true. Women are insane, you know, like, and guys are dumb, you know, like they do dumb shit all the time. Like, you know, so, you know, I think that's going to be, I think that's the thing that would move the industry forward the most would be just guys like, you know, looking at this like a regular business, like everything else they invest in, or, you know, they can invest in stocks and crypto and all this other stuff. But then when it comes to something like this, they're like, oh, you know, I can't do that. And it's like, you know, we're talking about hot women. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the thing is that as long as America's been around, I mean, like, you know, like every time you go out somewhere, you see a hot woman on a billboard, don't you? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's always hot women. So, I mean, like if there's a business to invest in, I think it's like, you know, the type of businesses that we're talking about right now. You know?
Do you think it's more of an American thing? Because the reason why I ask this is
Yeah.
because, like, when we look at our European counterparts, like when
Right.
you look at just the pure roster, the DWW, Fighting Dolls, Fighting Divas, and Foxy Combat,
Yeah.
just them four. We're not even adding the
That's
Cats
right.
Reviews, the Slap Cities, the
Yeah.
Monica Wrestling Monica, IFW.
Right.
Even you want to throw them girls in it. Like, if you look at, like, when you look at them and you look at our girls, I think it's more of a mentality thing. It's in between the ears,
Yeah.
because you see these girls who have, like, they have less inhibitions than we do over here. They'll start a match topless. Like, and for them, it's nothing. It's like to me, the toughest chicks I've ever seen, the Black Sea Amazons. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah. I know
is
what you're talking about. Yeah.
and it's like I had two girls one time training to where, going back to what you were saying earlier about the mentality,
Yeah.
was the fact that there was like one of them was like, girl, and this is when I knew I have crossed the threshold. Girl, um, don't be mad if I'm a little too rough with you today, because I've been going through with my man, and I just need to let off some steam. And the other one like, girl, come on. The next week it'll be my turn. I have bad week. And that was one of the best matches, training matches we ever shot. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, if I could
Yeah.
just get just the mentality part, the physics, because you're gonna have some dudes that's gonna like you just because you got blonde hair. You got some dudes like you just because you're black. Some dudes like redheads.
You
Some
know it.
dudes like
Right.
tall. Some people like short. You will find an audience for you. There'll be an audience. You got some ones that want BBW. There's an audience for it. It's just that what is your effort level? Because I think with this fan base and industry, as long as you're trying, they'll work with it. They'll have, okay, well, is she getting better each fight? Stuff like that. Skill. They
Yeah.
understand. They're not coming out there looking like UFC. But as long as you try and you give effort, that's just enough to sell. But my point is, do you think it's more of a mentality? I think it's because when you look at our European counterparts, if you took their top 20, I've always said, if you took
Oh,
the
they're amazing.
American top 10 and maybe the European top 10, I think they may be kind of neck and neck.
Oh man.
Once you get to like
I mean,
25 to 50,
I
we
guess
getting
I'm
smoked.
biased. I always felt like those European women just, I mean, it's like I started female wrestling channel off of DWW. We're basically like a non-nude version of DWW if you think about it. We've got body scissors, breast smother, schoolgirl pin, and head scissors, right? Ain't that pretty much 4 moves you saw at DWW? I mean, like, so I mean, like, I feel like, the thing is like when I look over there, I sometimes feel like maybe sometimes in some cases the girls are more aggressive, sometimes like, sometimes they may go harder. The problem that I never know is that there are a lot of producers out there that fake shit. I mean, like, they'll sit there and like, because like we've done tests here where we've had the girls wrestle around scripted to make it look real, and they can make it look real. You know what I mean? And that's the shit that scares me, because like I like authentic competitive. Like, so sometimes like when it looks a little too jumpy, like, when they're going back and forth, I almost feel like maybe they're doing like a WWE wrestling match, right? Like, where like, but with that said, I mean, I think that the financial conditions over there, in some cases, are a little bit tougher than they were here. Which means that, some of those girls are going to say yes, where here they're just not going to say yes, because the other thing here too has been the advent of OnlyFans. Like, so I mean, like a lot of these girls can just kind of sit at home and, just kind of be on talking like we are right now and get paid a couple $100, like, you know what I mean? And so, it's always going to be harder to grab some of those girls unless, you can try to make a deal to send people to their OnlyFans and stuff like that. So, I don't think it's that much different. I could be wrong. I mean, like, I think it's different because of economic conditions. I don't think it's so much biology. I think that most women, I mean, some cultures will influence things differently. I mean, like there's parts of Africa where like, they do women's wrestling and stuff like that. I mean, like there are going to be certain cultures that will influence different things. But I mean, I think that most of the women who are in Western culture though, nowadays, I just think that like, I don't think that the economic conditions are bad enough for them to do something that's against their biology yet. I mean, I think if the economic conditions continue to get worse, I think we'll have a lot of women doing this.
Which I know during the pandemic, and I've said this on the show before, that I remember during the pandemic, ladies that I would approach or that I would ask that would be kind of on that borderline of, like you said, they can do OnlyFans, they can do something else. And then when the work started drying up during the pandemic, You know,
Yeah.
like I said, now all of a sudden I'm getting messages. I'm getting, hey,
Yeah, that's
are
how it
y'all
works.
still? Yeah,
Yeah.
are y'all still
Yeah.
what? And I think it was like you said, the OnlyFans thing is one thing, and I think you also have the fact of the matter is the Ronda Rousey effect. I know
Yeah.
that was the thing for me. Like case in point, because you look at the National Federation of High Schools when it comes to wrestling and women being on high school teams. In
Yeah.
2008, there was 804. No, 2004. I'm sorry, 2004. It was 804 um, women who wrestled on their boys' high school teams and some, catch weight or whatever, total across the nation. But 15 years later, by 2019, it went from 804 to 21,000.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why the NCAA, I think it was August 1 of 2020, now have instituted women's wrestling as an emerging sport, NCAA
Yeah.
sport. Because if you have all of these girls now, you go from 800 to 21,000 in 15 years, where are these girls going to have this outlet after they're done high school? Everybody's not going to make it in USC because why? They only got 3 weight divisions. So
I'm with you.
now I see where this could be an opportunity. I call it Ronda Rousey pet because I'm like, if Ronda Rousey can get $3 million for 30 seconds,
Yeah, I'm with you.
it's
I mean,
like,
a lot of it. I mean, a
if you
lot
get
of
a
it.
couple,
When I pitch just delays with big followings and stuff like that, I mean, I've gotten some of them interested in doing some big matches and stuff like that. But like, I mean, usually from talking back and forth and everything, the impression that I kind of get is that like we're all still just a little too small fry. And like, what I mean by that is that like, women have a thing for small details and visual quality and things like that. And like, it's not that our companies are bad or anything, but we don't have the production quality, the shows that they're used to watching. Like, what I mean? So like anytime they watch a video from you or me, it's not going to feel like them watching Joey and Melissa, or something like that, like some sitcom, right? Like, it's going to feel completely different from what they used to. So the first thing they do is they label it as fetish, most of the time, or porn or whatnot. And, and I've tried to fight that fight before. I mean, like, it's kind of a losing battle. Like, I just kind of go with it now. But like, I mean, I'll say, look, there's no nudity, there's no kissing, there's no sex. How's it porn? I'm like, they're like, because old guys whack off to it. I'm like, okay, well, you win. I'm like, yeah, they probably do. I'm not in their bedroom, but that's a good possibility.
I have seen girls like when it comes. I used to be a tight end, so
yeah,
as a tight end, and that the double entendre of that. Well, so you see what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, Goose Getting, but yet, okay, fine. That's what the double standard therein lies.
yeah, right.
Got it. Yeah. So, next question I wanted to ask was,
Yeah.
if you could change anything in the business of the industry as a whole, what would you change? That's a question I love to ask producers.
No, not a problem. I mean, like, what I'm basically trending towards is like I'm trending towards limited and rare matches, like So I mean, like, I'm going to be trying to do matches with really big ladies with really big followings, and then we're going to have very limited copies of the match, and then we're going to sell them for a high price. And the difference is going to be that, I think that the industry's either dead or dying or probably already dead. I mean, like, in my opinion, just because like the thing is that there's no way to protect a digital video as of right now. And so I see these like these Telegram groups and Discord groups where like even fans that I've even had good relations with and stuff are sitting there trading my videos and your videos and everyone else's videos. And it's a bit of a gut punch, but at the same time, like you understand that like it's free and it's easy to do, and people aren't doing it to spite you or me. Like, we have nothing to do with it. They're doing it because they don't want to pay $20-$30 and they just want to see the action. So I understand why it happens, but I think that the big thing is going to be finding ways to protect the video and giving fans ownership of the video so that we don't have that tension. Because like the thing is that like if I go and I buy a video at the yard sale or something right now, I can resell it, right? But if I buy Kaiser's cat fight, I can't resell it. It's illegal. I can be prosecuted. If I buy Johnny Ringo's FWC videos and I try to resell them, I'll be prosecuted, right? So I think that, in my opinion, my opinion would be giving fans ownership of the videos and having technologies that protect the videos so that they can't be redistributed, stolen, stuff like that. So that's
Kind of
the type
like
of
the
stuff.
old school digital key, like serial keys and stuff you used
Yeah,
to have with software. I remember when they first started doing it. Yeah, so I look at it like the speed gun and radar, the same companies that sell
yeah,
to the police the radar guns, the same
yeah.
folks that sell the speed
Well, and
detectors.
I'm going to be trying a technology here. I've been working on a technology for 6 months that supposedly does this. So I mean, like, that's why I've been kind of incognito the last 6 months. I've been working on getting this going, and that's what our next step is. We want to do limited video that's protected, and we want to use that to pay the girls a higher price, and we want to make it really worthwhile for our investors. That's kind of our main thing. Is we want to make sure that when an investor puts money in, they get the money back quick, preferably within 180 days, and then they can turn it back around and get back into a match again and make money. That's the way we're looking to do it.
I can see it where when you talk about like legacies and stuff, that could be your legacy. Like you crack that code,
Yeah,
where producers and and it seems like so often. I mean, whether it was going back to Patreon, going
yeah,
back to OnlyFans or whatever, how it's like the fetish side would do it until it gets legitimatized, and
yeah,
then we get all kicked out,
right.
for so
Yeah,
it would. I think it would almost be kismet, if
yeah.
it was one of our own or something in this business that could figure that out, but put that digital copyright, for lack of better term, to
That's
where
that,
you
that's
have to.
completely what I'm focused on. I mean, like, I want to use a couple different technologies. I don't want to mention yet because, like, I've been
Right.
working on them, but I'm going to be debuting them here in the next couple months. And if you've been following my newsletter, you probably know a little bit about it. Because I've been
Mm-hmm.
talking about half of, like, the technology I'm going to be using, and that's where we're going. I mean, like, we'll still do some of the regular matches where everybody can buy them and they can be distributed, to everybody's grandma and mom. And, I mean, but, like, we got to get away from that. It's a defeating business model for guys that work so hard like we do. And,
Mm-hmm.
I know that the fans mean well, but, I think they just all think like, it's just me. It's no big deal. But then when you're multiplying that by like 1,000 or 10,000 fans, you're like, okay, we're starting to lose some revenue now. I mean, like,
And I put the contact information, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom here at Film Wrestle Channel. I know that's Twitter,
yeah.
or X, as they're changing the X today,
Yes,
or
X,
Female
X.com.
Wrestling Channel.com as well. But I would say that the one thing that I had this epiphany literally, about maybe 8 months ago, 8, 9 months ago,
Yeah.
is that, and I think it was the differences, because you got some producers that want to allow hair pulling, some don't.
Right.
Some, like one of the things that keeps coming up. It seems like every 6 to 8 months when we have the new crop of fans that come in and just get new to the industry. What
Yeah.
is a cat fight? So just trying to define what a
Right.
cat fight is. Okay,
Yeah.
we pretty much have nailed down to it being hair pulling, open hand slaps to the body, hair pulling, open hand slaps to the body, breast attacks, crotch attacks. You can kick while they're standing, no kicking while someone's down. Um, Now some people like to throw, body punches in and all that. I'm the type of person, if you have not done it before, that's the most dangerous thing to do. Because especially if your hair getting pulled and you just start swinging and you haven't been in enough
Well,
matches,
just differentiate.
that's
Just
just
tell them to
that's
say,
kind of
just tell them to say, hey, if you want that, that's boxing or MMA, right? Like, you want punching, that's boxing or MMA. We do cat fights. It's hair
right.
pulling and slapping.
But do you have some people will argue body punches
Always,
is cat fight?
always.
It's one of those line of demarcations that I say for newbies.
Yeah,
If you're trained and you know what you're doing, like you've had at least 3 to 6 matches, okay, yes, fine, because you've been
yeah,
on your back and stuff like that. You can understand spatial awareness. I can trust you on that. But when you first starting out, no, that's one of those things, because you mess around, you accidentally hit someone. God
right.
forbid you hit them in the face.
Yeah,
Oh God, here we go. Then there we go. So but the epiphany that I had was, and this is where I think what talent, and there's always been a war between talent and producers, is
Yeah.
you have some producers that look at this as catfighting, and I'll ask you, do you look at catfighting as a sport with fetish elements or a fetish with sport elements?
Mm.
And this is the
I
reason
mean,
why I ask.
yeah. I mean, I think that. I mean, I think that what we do sometimes is we try to call it a sport to legitimize it, but like the people that we're trying to legitimize it to are never going to buy our product. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things where like I just look at it as a sporting competition, right? Like it's a fetish. I mean, like I mean, you can call it a sport. I mean, because there's definitely competition. There's a real winner and a real loser, like there are in other sports. So you're not none of your terms are wrong. I mean, like, it's just that, like, like you said, like everybody's looking at this through their own prism. And I think it's just best for you to define what a cat fight is and just go with it. I mean, like, because like no one else has a better definition, to be clear. I mean, like, they don't like, and that, like, like, it's not like, oh, okay, you got me there. I didn't think of that. Like, no, you're like, I thought of that. I know. Like, like these are,
The reason why I bring this up is like when I pose this, and then when I pose my explanation for it, this is what it tells you, especially with the girls, what frame of mind they're in. And this goes back to dealing with the pandemic and dealing with talent and all of this. In the fetish industry, if you like, sometimes I would ask talent, what's the weirdest thing that someone asks you to do in the fetish world? I have one girl tell me, she said, I was asked to sit bare bottom on a birthday cake in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I thought, what? And so in fetish would say everyone who does it. Let's say, for example, if let's say that fetish was the standard for anyone who does it is $300.
Yeah,
$300 for an hour.
right.
Or if you do tickling, it's $600 an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out random numbers. Don't quote me on that. I'm just throwing out random numbers. I'm talking about to the fans of the comment.
Well said, right?
Fetish would say, well, no matter your experience level, because you participate in this fetish, this is how much money you get for participating. Whereas if it's a sport, if you're a newbie, why am I paying you the same amount as I would pay someone who's done this for 3 years? You see what I'm saying? Because if you're a sport, then it's like
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're not good yet. You haven't been trained yet.
Okay.
Because like for example, you had some producers that was at one point, I felt like we was getting priced out because we had some producers that was offering way more money than the rest of us. Because well, you either have to keep up or shut down. But
this is a hard question. I mean, like,
okay, as a producer, we could get it to speak with them.
Can you pull up my website right now, like in another window or something?
I actually had it on cue, so I would do the share the screen.
Awesome. Okay, so okay, this is great. This is great because this is going to tie in exactly what you're talking about, and you'll understand perfectly what I'm saying by the time we're done. So the thing is if you go to the very bottom of my front page, you can see our top sellers. Okay.
Okay, wait. Oh, wait a minute. Whoop. Hold on. That was the there we go. Because originally I had both your page and I had the Twitter. I had them both. So you said go all the way to the bottom?
All the way to the bottom, a little bit more.
Okay.
Well, a little bit more. Oh, you see them now. Okay, so there's my top sellers there. You see them?
Okay. Competitive singles.
There's 24 of them right there. There's 24 of our top sellers.
Okay, these right here. Okay.
I
went down too far.
Okay, so the thing is that if you go through those, okay, the thing is that the two top sellers on our website are Eden Sins and Callisto Strike. All right. Yeah, like that's the top seller. We actually did that with another company. We actually filmed that with Bay Fight. Okay. And the thing is that like, both of them, I mean, Eden had a little bit of training, but Jessica was a completely untrained wrestler. Okay. Like Callisto and Eden both, like, they're not the top level of wrestlers. Like, like the thing is like, like Eden and Callisto get beaten by Cheyenne Jewel and Monroe Jameson. And, your top wrestlers usually are going to defeat those girls. But yet the thing is that they outsell all the other girls on my site, like by a big amount, right? Wow. So the thing is like, do they deserve to be paid more or paid less? You see what I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like that's the thing, is that they might not be the most talented, right? They might not be the best, but the thing is that they make me the most money as a producer.
Right. And then that means that when it comes time for the next, see, I was more of a revenue share guy.
Yeah.
Because it's like the necromongers from Chronicles of Riddick. You keep what you kill. You know, if you bring me more money, I can pay you more.
That's right.
You
Absolutely.
know, it just, or if you bring me girls to where they get a match, boom, I give you a small percentage cut from the sales for the first 6 months.
Because but most girls aren't going to promote this. I mean, like, you know, they'll start up like a new social media and promote it, but they're usually not going to take their pre-established name and promote it there. And that's where it's tough. You know, like, I mean, like a Cheyenne Jewel or somebody would, which is great because she's been in the industry for a while, but like, you're not going to like, cause like even Eden Sins, I mean, like, you know, she has an Eden Sins social media now, but like, you know, her regular social media for a long time, she didn't push any wrestling, and I'm okay with that. I'm just saying that like most of these girls, it is very hard to get them to promote, you know, and that's where, you know, we're going to have good incentives.
Well,
like, you know,
what I mean by it is like, if they bring me someone that participate in the match, because now that's one less girl I have to go and recruit.
Oh, it's guys. They're the best. They're the best. Yeah, they're the best form for that. Yeah,
and so then it's like you getting a percentage cut off of, you know, you bringing in someone. You see what I'm saying? Now that's one less thing I have to do. And for girls, it seems like they recruit each other better because they know that, okay, you have a vested interest in it, but you're in it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. They'll do it in terms of like bringing another girl to you, but in terms of them promoting their content themselves,
that's a whole.
You know, you rarely see that. They'll do it like at the time of the match, and then like they're done. I mean, like, you know, normally, unfortunately, you know, I hope that we can get to a point where that changes. You know, did I lose you here? Everybody, I don't know if it's just me now, but I lost Kaiser. So if it's just me, then hello. But I have no idea. I can't see if people are on the screen or not. Until Kaiser lost you. Again, I have no idea if I'm talking to myself or talking to you guys, but anyway, hope you learn a little bit. You know, it's an interesting industry, and there's a lot of cool stuff that we're all doing behind the scenes, I can assure you. Well, fans, if I did lose Mr. Kaiser, it's good talking to you all. You can email me at johnny@femailewrestlingchannel.com. He's just saying 1 second. Okay. I'll check some stuff in the meantime. Get back with some of you guys on the email here. This sold some offense-defense matches. We're looking to do some more full competitive, but very careful about who we work with on those. We did have some girls get injured before. Chat here. I don't know if for hosts, I see. Maybe,
Hello. Okay, I got you back.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, man?
Okay, for a moment there, I was so scared. You have no idea how fearful I was. I thought, oh my God, I just compromised the entire recording because
it's okay.
Without getting too deep in the weeds, we're using this one called Streamlabs.
Yeah.
We've been going back and forth between Streamlabs, Restream, and StreamYard. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
with
yeah.
Streamlabs, one of the things I hate is if I stop recording, let's say, for example, we want to record multiple segments, I have to reload. And in reloading, it kicks me out, and you guys are still in the room.
Oh, that
And I
sucks.
can't get back in, and I got to give you enough, and we lose everything. And I was like, oh my God, because I was trying to switch back over from being on the, I was like, oh no, oh Jesus. But
I
thankfully,
wasn't
it
sure if
says,
I was talking to anybody or not. I said, "Well, how you
okay.
guys doing?" I'm gonna sit here and check some emails while I'm talking to you. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if anybody's listening or
Jesus.
not. 'Cause,
So
you know,
thankfully, everything
yeah.
is still recorded. So thank God. I'm like, oh Jesus. Yeah, see,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, the joy is alive. So the joy is alive. Um, but yeah, it just like you said, being the best selling Bay Fight, friend of the show. Bay Fight has been on with us.
Yeah,
Another fellow producer. I'm getting so much out of this just because it's as a fellow producer, there's stuff. Because normally I ask, especially new producers, what is the biggest thing between the first and second production, what they have learned,
yeah,
because usually, like you said, but you got to talk more in the legacy standpoint,
yeah,
from the standpoint of legacy. But yeah, going back to what I said about fetish and sport, man, I mean, once I caught that revelation, I said it changed everything. I believe for me, if answering the same question I asked you about what I do to change the industry, I
yeah.
think the industry is at a point right now. I don't know if you had heard the whole thing about the little rampage of Phoenix Star fight and how all the Twitter back and forth and
Hmm.
everything that's happened, and how Rampage have done so much to help promote the sport
Yeah,
afterwards. Because now you got people coming in like, oh, what is this?
that's
You
cool.
know, it's just to the point to where I think it's time there need to be a minor league system,
Yeah,
to where it's like, okay, just because it's like for some of the girls that's coming in, they've had no training, and you
yeah,
asking them to jump from coming off the street and going all the way up to this cat fight level that you speak of.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's like, and what's happening is the girls are getting frustrated, the newbies, because they're losing and they're losing badly. And then they get embarrassed. And then the sponsors are not happy because the fight may not either come out the way
one
they
sided,
wanted,
right?
or one sided,
Yeah,
or even if it's not one sided, because not all 1-0 fights are the same. You can just win 1-0 and then just got thrashed for 20 minutes.
right.
But it could
That's
be
the nature of
either
a real fight, though. That's why I always tell them, I'm like, some of ours are only 3 minutes. I mean, I'm not going to like sit there because like there's one producer in the industry that like all his supposed competitive matches are 30 minutes. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like,
well,
like
see,
some mine are 3, 5, 7. Like, how is every one of your matches they're competitive perfectly 30 minutes like that? That's because you're stuffing it with shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I
the
don't,
way I like to do it is because stamina has always been a thing with our ladies. So
yeah,
I'm like this. Oh, we're getting 20 minutes. It's just
yeah,
whoever has the most submissions.
I
That way,
see.
that keeps the competitiveness
I
of it.
can see
Because
that. I can see
the end
that.
at 1-0.
I
I'm
could
kind of
never
like,
figure that out. I'm
yeah,
like, how does that work? Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
the end at 1-0, and it's kind of like, okay, well, there is, because one is not UFC because we're not getting that kind of funding. Two,
Yeah,
in order for me to make it work with my wife, I have to get 20 minutes out of it.
I
So,
understand.
okay, because 20 has been kind of the industry standard. This is what I go back all the way back to, like Cheyenne. You mentioned Cheyenne Jewel, but
Yeah,
Tiger Lily, Tomiko, all those all those girls. Because
yeah,
back then, their competitive fights would be 20 minutes, and
right.
they would go 20 minutes, no break.
Yeah, I get
Sarah
that. Right.
Brooke and stuff like that. They could go 20 minutes with no break.
Good
Now, for the
luck.
new girls, that's a lot to ask them to do 20
Yeah,
minutes, no break.
right. It's
So
almost
some
impossible.
producers would
Right.
do 2 rounds of 10, so they
Yeah.
catch their breath. Some would do, okay, well, we'll catch your breath. We'll do 4 rounds of 5 minutes or 5 rounds of 4 minutes.
That's what we do. We
I'm
do
more
5
like
minutes. I mean, like, I mean, 5 minutes is a lot. I mean, for
five
everybody that's
minutes is a
not
lot.
tried it out there, just get out there and try it for 5 minutes. Like, it's tough. I mean,
5 minutes. And then just being able to work the strategy of clocking your head. Because let's say, for example, if they wanted to do, like, I have two divisions. So I have Claws, which is Combative Ladies Amateur Wrestling Series, and then we
yeah,
have Fight Club. And Fight
yeah,
Club is the one where we go public with, like when you go to NAGA tournaments and things like that. Because for some of the girls, they say, well, I want to have somewhere my family could come see me fight.
yeah. It
Okay,
makes
fine.
sense.
That's
Yeah,
what NAGA is for. And
yeah,
for those, you on time. You see what I'm saying? So now this is not the first time you was in a
yeah,
situation with 3 minutes or 5 minute rounds or 7 minute rounds, or they'll do 7 minutes total. you know,
Yeah.
and then you sitting there looking crazy because you never wrestled on the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
get
see,
that. Right.
so all of these things, so that way I get at least a number of minutes of for the services offered, which goes back
Yeah.
to the fetish side of it. That
That's it.
you get paid for this hour, this half hour, whatever you're producing, this third of an hour because it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But on the flip side is even if it's 2-1 or 1-0 or 13-1, regardless, is the fact of the matter is 20 minutes, and you know, and how do you go about? And we go back and we diagram, and because I think for the girls, once they see themselves on video, oh, especially the ones that want to get it and get better, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I could have did this and did that and did this. I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely.
and I just do it
Yeah.
like video review. So
Yeah. No, that's
yeah,
good.
so,
That's good. I understand. I know it's always been a thing in the industry about, you know, the minutes and everything. And I mean, if I have anything that's scripted or anything like that, I'll put it in there. I mean, we have like our own training videos and stuff, which can extend the time, which that is nice. I mean, like, but no, I'm glad you explained that to me because I saw this one producer that has 30-minute videos every time. And I'm like, how is that? How
yeah,
could
we
that
just
be
do it
made?
by round, and everybody divides it up. I like to have it to where I mean, by the time you do the pregame, the post interviews, and all that, you can make a 30-minute production out
Yeah,
of a
yeah, yeah.
20-minute fight, and you're not cheating. The worst is, oh my god, is when you have, and I won't name the producer, is when you sell a video for $35, 36
Yeah.
bucks, and your video you say it's 21 minutes. All right, you're already kind of on less than a minute, more than $1 a minute. And then you
Right.
get to the fight. The fight itself is only 7 minutes.
Because they've been talking the
You
whole time.
right, they were talking about what they're
Yeah.
gonna do to each other, all
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh
I get
no,
it.
this is not good. And then by then it's like, gotcha. But yet you charge more for that. All your other fights is anywhere between 15, maybe 20, and then this one's 36.
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it better be now the effort and energy level was good, but it's not worth 36, not for them 7 minutes. It's just not. So
Oh, I
yeah,
agree. I agree completely.
so we have all these things. Yeah, but that's what my whole thing about being the sport and the fetish, because now me then at the girls all in the end of the day, for some girls, it's like, yeah, they want the money, but then for some, like, okay, I get the money and I get paid to kick somebody.
Oh
I'll take
yeah,
both.
yeah. There
Hey,
are rare exceptions to the rule that really enjoy it. I mean, like we've had
yeah.
like Foxy Rain, she loved it. Like Jade Jameson, she loved it. I mean, like, you know, like some of these girls like really loved it when they came on.
I wanted to ask,
Yeah,
who is this on your Twitter? See, I had the Twitter account. I'm
yeah.
gonna try to do this without blowing the whole thing up again. But
Oh,
I
that's
had your
fine.
Twitter, and yep, okay, good. I got it here. I wanted to know who is this. I'm going to bring it in. Let's see, share the screen, and so now this should run a lot more smoother because I haven't had to dump it. Who is this? Is this Foxy?
Uh,
This is not Foxy or London.
no, that ain't
No.
Foxy. No, that is Sasha Subdue.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
I've seen her on a couple of your stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we found her out in Las Vegas when we were visiting in 2020.
okay.
And she's another one. She's another good example of somebody who is like, I could, like, you'll see like on one of her profiles, I got like she's like the boss woman type. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like she's very
Okay.
smart. She loved what we were doing. Absolutely loved it. The only thing is she was going through a relationship change at the time when we met her. And she ended up moving to Montana of all places. So,
Oh
you know,
wow.
the only thing we got to do is we just got to fly her in from Montana if anybody wants to see her on the mats again, because she's cool.
I will warn anyone comes from Montana. And one of my fellow producers had a match where one of the girls would come from Montana,
Yeah.
and they called to let us know that it was going to be delayed. We're like, why? Well, the car that was riding there got hit by a moose.
Oh, a moose. That's great.
And
That's
it's
great.
Montana. So you only got so many flights that's coming out a day. So
Yeah.
the whole thing had to get postponed like 14 hours,
That's
you know,
great.
just because of a moose walking them
Yeah.
across the road, decide they didn't want to get out the road. So it's just, I like you said, you'll find you stay in this long enough, you'll find all kinds of, and sometimes you can just laugh. That's all you have to do is laugh.
Yeah, I got
I
some
know
good
the
story. Okay, I got some good stories on that. I mean, just a couple. I just want to share a few stories just
yeah,
on this,
yes,
so
go ahead.
fans kind of know like what we're going through here. So like, one woman, she actually did get arrested on the way to one of our matches that we never got to do. It would have been a great match. She got arrested because I think something about like her license plate or driver's license or something. But then she went to jail and got lice, and she had to shave her head because she got lice in jail from like that one incident. Like that was one of the worst ones. We had a girl that was. We have another girl that was supposed to start up one time, and we went to her town to meet her, and we're going to have the girl that was going to face her and everything. And at the last minute, she sent us a picture of an EPT test, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And she's like, "Oh, well, the thing is that in the last hour since we talked, my dog jumped on my stomach and it felt funny. So I thought that maybe I should get a pregnancy test before our match starts. And what do you know? I'm pregnant." But she wasn't pregnant. She was lying about it. The thing is that she didn't want to do the match because I saw her 2-3 weeks later on her Facebook page drinking. Because that's what women do when they're pregnant, right? They go out and get smashed, right? I mean, she might have. I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, long story short, she did lie about the baby. She didn't have the baby. So, like, I kind of figured that when I saw her out partying, that was going to be the case. And so that was one. God, we got a lot of stories. I mean, and some of the stories we can tell. I mean, like in terms of like our own like close encounter cat fights, right? Because we're on the we're on the Claws show here. I mean, like, we need to be talking about cat fights, right? A little bit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, if that's okay.
Yeah. That's what we get.
I don't want to bore you or anything.
No, not at all. I'm still just like she got arrested. It did life. So even if you want the hair pull, that's out. Because she had to say, like, oh my God.
God, I know, right? Yeah, that was a bad one.
Wow.
I mean, like, and that's the thing is like, it wasn't because she was gross or nasty or anything. She just had a bad experience where she got thrown into a jail where there was lice, and then she got lice, and so she had to shave her head to get rid of the lice, and then then she couldn't come back because she shaved her head.
I mean, you can fight bald. I mean, we've had.
Well, I know, but she has some pride. I mean, you understand. I mean,
yeah. Which now I will say with a lot of the sisters, I'm come across quite a few talent where they have alopecia, so they're really sensitive about their hair being pulled.
Yeah.
Now, again, for me, I'm like this. I understand that some producers rely too heavily on hair pulling because you have some girl, all they want to do is hair pull and then that's it. Because I have one girl, that's all she wants to do is hair pull another girl. She don't want to throw no bows, she don't want to learn the holes, nothing. All she want to do is just stand there and show that her biotin can just hold. Okay, fine. That's what you want to do. Okay, fine. But I'm like, I'm going to struggle, and it's been 6 years now, and I ain't found nobody that's want to sit there and do that with you. Okay, great.
Right.
But in this case, but what I try to do with my ladies is we have a list of 75 holes that we will, and every 25, you got to give them something to shoot for. So every 25, they get, instead of a belt, they get a sash, like a sash color. Like I'm an old school martial arts sash color, a red, a green, and a blue. They get all three. But on your last match, you have to have hair puller, full fledged. Because I said what I didn't want to happen is you get in a real life situation. Because we always try to balance it to where some of the stuff you can do in real life. Because if you in a situation, I do not want that to be the first time you get your hair pulled. So I had this one girl, I would not say what her name is because she's still active, kind of quasi active.
I understand. Sure.
She said, Sensei, I can't do it. I have alopecia. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, you still need to have something. But she had her hair kind of shaved on the side, and this part was still some hair on it. So she did kind of like what you talked about, what we've seen before, is where she ended up dating a guy, and then she's dropped out,
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like the guy like, well, why you need to fight? You got me, da da da.
And
I tell now I'm a very large black man. I'm not small, right. So when they sit there, if they see me face to face, I'm like, so what are you scared of? You can't be around her 24/7. Right. Now the thing is, I say it's not me. Is that if it's another woman, because that's why I've always wanted that whoever my ex who helped me get started, my whole thing was I said, dear, if I put my hands on a woman, I'm going to jail. You put
Yeah.
your hands on a woman or anybody, nobody cares. She was like 5'4", 110 pounds.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
So you put your hands on a woman, we film it. If I put my hands on a woman, we go to jail.
Right, I'm going to jail. Nobody cares if you put your hands on her. Nobody cares. So that's what.
Right.
So my thing is to the guys is like, so even it's not even just about other dudes. It's about women. And I said this is simple. I said, men, we're not gonna mess with women that we know that can kick our butt. We're
Yeah.
simple. Because we
Yeah.
know we may wake up one day and be in a real naked choke. God forbid she go crazy and say it, and then you wake up in a naked choke. You're not gonna do it. So that's why I said, so what you scared of? So anyway,
Right.
so
No,
she
well
goes
said.
off dating this dude, and his baby mama looks like a cross between, I don't know if you between if Young Ma and Beanie Siegel had a baby.
Oh,
That's the visual.
that's pretty good.
That's the visual. If Young Ma and Beanie Siegel had a baby, that's what this girl looked like.
That's good.
But this is baby mama. This is the baby mama. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. Well, there was the kid's 4-year-old birthday party anyway, and they live in one of the roughest sections in all of Virginia.
Yeah.
And they're outside, and the baby mama and her boyfriend is getting into it. So she decides she's going to assert herself, right? Because again, she went to training. Needless to say, it did not go well. By the time I found out about it, it was all over Facebook. Like she got on Facebook, started dogging and attacking her. Yeah, ho, that's why I beat you in front of your man. Beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. And just going in. And I'm just like, I said, are you okay? What is this? Who is this uncircumcised? I'm like, who is this? What is
Yeah.
this is going on? And she's like, she said, me and the baby mama got into it, and she said, I was ready, we were squaring up and everything, and she pulled my hair and she said, I blacked out. She said, I forgot all the training, everything we went through.
Yeah,
All I
that's normal.
could think of,
That's
stop
normal.
pulling my hair. I would do
That's
whatever.
so normal. That's so
And
normal.
she said, I was so it was so embarrassing to the point
Yeah.
the boyfriend was so embarrassed. He walked back in the house and left her
Yeah.
outside. Like, yeah, they broke up like right there on the spot. He was like, just the way she just like, you had been talking about you went out there, you trained your friends, and you get a bed like on the block
Yeah.
in front of everybody on the street.
Yeah.
It's not going over well. And so she said, I need to come back. And so I said, this is why I said I was just like, oh, but it is what it is. So
Yeah, but that's a rare one, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's the thing is like most girls, like, like if they get beat up, they're gonna disappear. You'll never see them again. I mean, it's cool that she had that gumption to come back and try to, to want to learn and get better and stronger. But,
right. Because it was just like, because I was like that, and this is why I said, because for me, the epiphany for me getting into the business was the whole Ray Rice incident.
yeah.
Because how Janae Rice rushed Ray Rice to the elevator. Janae Rice knew MMA and knocked out Ray Rice in the elevator. Ray Rice would be in the Ring of Honor right now in Baltimore. Right. I just spent the last episode. I was in Baltimore, and how the people still hold him kind of in high regard. There, he's still on the talk radio show. He come on the local show like once a week. Talk Ravens football. But it's one of those things. It's like it hit me. I was in Hooters of all places. It's National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It was October, and I was like, teach the women how to fight. I said, even like the movie Enough talked about it, Jennifer Lopez and Jesus Christ, Jim Caviezel. Jesus Christ. Beat up Jesus Christ.
About
I'm
that.
like, but it was like, if you teach the women, because see, I grew up in the women, like I said, household. My grandmother was a fighter. My mom was a fighter. My grandmother told me when I was a kid, that baby, there's two types of women as well. Women who gets their butt kicked, and women who kicks butt, and women who gets their butt kicked. Know which one you got, and know which one you need.
Yeah.
Said, okay, Grandma.
That's funny.
But as I got older, I just grew up because my sister. So my dad told me, I don't know if you remember the old Pink Panther, Peter Sellers, the old Pink Panther movies.
God. Yes.
And when he would tell the young dude, dude, hey, the Kato looking dude, hey, anytime, just attack me. Anytime, any place, anywhere, keep my skills sharp.
Yeah.
So my dad did that because my dad loved Pink Panther. had my sisters do that with me. I could never hit back. I can only do defensive moves. I can only defend myself. I could never hit back. And
That's
so my
smart.
sister would jump off the couch, all that, elbow me in the head, all kind of stuff. So it was one of those things that I grew up. I get in the real world. I thought all women knew how to defend themselves. I got out here in
I
the
get that
streets to
right.
realize,
Right.
no.
Mhm.
And so that's why it was like, and that was the epiphany. Now, in the case of my ex lost, and she lost badly. She
Yeah.
never won. And I think she did the three. She got to the third one. She did. I mean, I tried to even handicap it. So,
Yeah.
like, start from the advantage position, and she just was. And I think, and my thing is, she was getting disappointed that she was getting a butt kick and win. But I told her, I said, dear, part of the issue is to find people in your size.
Yeah.
You're 35 years old, 5'4", 110, 115 pounds.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of women, and especially sisters, that is your age and your size. To get people that's your size, I have to go back to the 22, 23-year-olds. You know,
Yeah.
because I don't do under 21. Under the 18, yeah, we don't. In 20, I might let you if you within 6 months of your 21st birthday. But
Yeah.
I prefer 21 and up.
I understand.
So it's just so I'm like, so that's pretty much all we got, you know. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have more energy. They're gonna have more. But her, I said, look, I'm just happy you got out there. I'm kind of like the old ex-athlete. I'm just happy that you competed. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
there's a
Same here.
happiness in just being able
Yeah.
to compete. The fact that if you won or lost, you know,
I
I
understand.
wasn't into that, but she was. But because it didn't help, that's why she just kind of like, okay, well, you can do it. I'm out. I was just like, yeah. So
I
yeah.
understand. I mean, part of it, like, I mean, like, you know, I mean, if this is part of like what you're talking about here, I mean, like, you know, like we always kind of need better mouse traps, like, you know, to get girls into this because like it is
Yeah.
against their biology. So like, you know, like whether it's like teaching them how to fight or like, you know, like one idea that we were thinking about doing in Indianapolis, and I see you have a Pacers hat on, by the way, like,
Yeah, I am a Reggie Miller fan from
yeah, first, so
'88,
oh man, I
'88,
love Reggie
'87.
Miller. I love Reggie Miller. So I mean, the last 2 years, I lived a block away from the Pacers Stadium in Indianapolis. Like I literally, like, I block away. Like I walk past there all the time. I just moved back up to Lafayette, Indiana, in the last couple months to help my mom out with some stuff. So like we're back up here, and then we might be going to Florida next or Vegas. We don't know yet, but like I was right there in the middle of Pacer and Indianapolis Colts country for the last 2 years, right in the smack dab middle of Indianapolis, just by the way. But what
The
we were talking
cleanest
about, though,
downtown I ever seen.
what's
Cleanest
that?
down. The cleanest downtown I've ever seen.
Oh, it's cool down there,
And,
man.
and the thing is, rush hour is over at 5:15. Rush hour starts at 5:15. Rush hour is over in
It's
downtown
over.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Over. Ain't no. I'm like, what's the rest of the traffic?
I mean, what I will say about Indianapolis is like everybody thinks they're a fucking race car driver, you know, because of the Indy. So like, you know, you hear like all these
Yeah.
like cars like going vroom, like all the time, and you're just like, okay, like, you know, you guys aren't race car drivers. Like, you know, like go the track and like get an actual car and compete, you know, because like, you know, like you're just pissing people off out here. But no, the last thing I just want to say is that like, you know, we can always try to build better mouse traps to get these girls in. Like we were talking about maybe like having a gym where they can come in and work out, and we have this stuff on the side, or they can, you know, come in and learn fighting techniques and stuff like that, and have this stuff on the side, because it is very hard to get girls to do it directly, but it's kind of your mindset too. Like if you're looking to find girls to build around, quote unquote, I think that's very hard to do in this business because the girls are very transient. You know, so I mean, like even Bay Fight, like I'll give you a good example. Like, you know, like Andy, when he first started, he kind of went through the same thing I did. I got Monroe and Savannah when I first started, and there's the two most perfect girls to start, right? But it's like in some ways it goes downhill from there. Like, you know what I mean? Like he got Jessica and Brittany, and those were his two favorites, top thing and everything. And he's still doing fine. I mean, it's not like it's a negative thing. I'm just saying that, like, you know, you start out and you think like this is how it's always going to be, right? And it's just like it's like, you know, like it's not. Like, you know, it's so hard sometimes to get these girls together in these matches that, like, you know, you even really want to see as a producer, like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it, and any better mousetraps that any of us can make is a good idea, you know, because it is tough to get them in and get them showing up and sticking with it, you know.
Jiu-jitsu. That's what I found to be the great equalizer. Because going back to the Ronda Rousey, Because
Yeah.
jujitsu is one of the few martial arts that's actually better for women than it is for men. Because
Interesting.
jujitsu is about the scissors. And
Yeah.
my old sensei used to say, he who controls the scissors controls the match. And so
Like,
women,
yeah.
what are their center of gravity? Between the navel
Right.
and the knees. Men, what is our center of gravity? Between our navel and our neck. So
Yeah.
if their center of gravity is built for, is naturally built for them. So which is why
I
I
agree.
think once jujitsu really became dominant, and then with the whole NAGA and all of that, and now you know how, and then with the Ronda Rousey effect, when Dana was like, "Oh, a woman would never fight in UFC," and now you got. I just need him personally to add some more weight classes on the back end. You got 10 for the men, you only got 3 for the women.
Yeah.
You know, because again, just like how I talked about, like for example, my sister said, I ain't seen 145 since high school. So, like, the perfect person I think that would have been classic if they could have ever trained in MMA would have been like somebody like Serena Williams.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
case of Serena, she's not getting the 145,
Mm-mm.
maybe 150, 155, maybe. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Because she's already at 3% body fat.
Right.
It's like you can't, when you start cutting muscle, then that weakens you. We've seen that with the TJ Dillashaw Uriah Faber fight when Dillashaw had to start cutting muscle, to
Right.
make weight. So
Right.
it's like for some of these sisters and stuff like that, I just like this.
Well,
If you don't have 10 for the men, then 10 for the women, and then that way you just
I
and
can't
then
even have
let
weight.
more.
There's not enough women to have weight classes. I just put them up against each other, and I'm like, let's see where the chips fall. You know, I mean, like sometimes a small girl will surprise every once in a while. You know,
Right. But there is, so what I try to do is you have to be within, it used to be 8 pounds, I don't know, 8 inches or 80 pounds. I'm now narrowed it down from 6 inches to 6 pounds, 60 pounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
you got to be within because I said, look, in a real life situation, you can't be like,
I
oh, I
agree
can't
with
fight you because you're 20 pounds lighter than me or whatever.
I
When
know.
you're in a real life scrap, you got to look and see. I call it the S's, the 7 S's: your speed, your size, your strength, your stamina, your skills, your smarts, and your spirit. Whichever
Yeah,
one of the 7 you have, if you can get 4 in advantage, then you got a chance to win the fight, regardless of who. Because I try to train our ladies 5 to 7 holds. Find one that you feel like you can get on any person, any size, man or woman, whatever, and then we build from there.
that's smart. That's
You see
smart.
what I'm saying? So that way, it just because everybody, you're going to have it in every fight. You're going to have an advantage and a disadvantage. It's just a matter of the more you can do that to where not so much that you spending the whole fight thinking, it's just that you start. It becomes second nature. And there's like then you can start doing like in the Matrix. Deal. It's just,
Yeah, well, no, it does. It becomes muscle memory. You're right. It does. It
muscle
really does.
memory, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, oh, okay. Especially like a real naked choke. Just even if you're going, I know some producers don't like chokes, and some producers do. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, just train them to do it. Don't tell them
Yeah.
they can do it and they don't know how. Train them so that way they can get it on and then safely they can do it right. Because sometimes you get hurt. And like for a lot of our stuff, we don't do standing moves because you got to get
Yeah.
taught how to fall. Because
Right.
you can get more injured falling wrong than anything else.
That's the number one cause of injuries a lot of times is the
Yeah,
falling.
so
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
all that. So we do it just like how they do jujitsu, great jujitsu. We start you from the ground up, literally from the ground, and build it up. By the time
Yeah.
you get to level 4, you're doing standing moves and all that. Because by then you know how the ground goes, a fall and roll. Because we done
And,
went through that in 2 and 3.
and while we're on this, I want to say one other thing because we were talking about this earlier. Like you were talking about, like, how do you define a cat fight, right? Like, and so what I did at my company is like, like we were, in my view, I felt like we were kind of getting like, it's like, people were trying to have us be all over the place, right? Like, and so, because like people were wanting some moves that are debatable about whether they should be competitive moves or not. Like, they want stuff like a camel clutch and like, Boston crab and stuff like that. And these are more pro moves, that, yeah, you can hurt a person with it, but like, you can really hurt a person with it. Like, so, I mean, what we decided to do, and this was just us, and like, whether it's good or bad, time will tell. What we decided to do was just have nothing but, since we're the female wrestling channel, we have nothing but female centric moves, which are the body scissors, head scissors, schoolgirl pin, and breast mother. And there's and the reason that we say that is just because they're moves that a female would normally use. It's not that a guy, because like Dan Severn used to use the breast mother. I mean, you can use it, but the thing is these are typically moves that a female would use in a fight versus a man. or a wrestling
Right.
match. You know, and so that's how we try to define our product is we teach the girls female-centric moves, you know, so that we're not teaching them rear naked chokes. And when we let them choke in some matches, like if we've had like if we have like two very advanced girls against each other and they can't get the scissors on each other or anything, yeah, we'll activate chokes. You know what I mean? Or if like we have a mixed match where the guy's 2 times the girl's size, yeah, we'll activate chokes. Like, you know what I mean? But most of the
For her
time,
to balance it out, right? The guy can't do it.
precisely.
The girl can do it, but yeah, just try to balance it
And
out.
that's it, right? The girl could do it. We don't let the guy do it because it's
Right.
just to balance it out. Because like it's just like some of these guys, it's like they can't even get their legs around. Like you, like some of the girls might be able to get their legs around you for leg scissors. Some girls can't, depending on how tall they are. You know, they got to be tall. If like you got a little short
And I'm
girl,
a big guy, so most girls can't scissor me if they wanted
that's
to.
it.
So
That's
unless
it.
they could do head scissors,
That's
they
it.
couldn't scissor my throat. Now out. That's not right.
And you got it. And that's why sometimes, like, you know, like a guy like you, sometimes we'll let him use a rear naked choke on you or something, you know, as long as you consent, of course, you know.
Right.
So this is probably it for me this week, but I'd love to have another chat with you sometime.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So we definitely love to have you on. Because normally our show is normally about an hour. Because normally what we do is we do old business and take us to the top of the hour. We start at 9:30, go to 20 to the top of the hour, and then from 10 Eastern,
yeah,
10 to about 10:20, 10:30, and then
yeah,
we normally have a sidebar where we talk off the record.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
but
yeah.
but yeah, but we could do that part when I stop just for a few minutes because you've been so gracious to us with your time and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I have down on the bottom, I have the female wrestling channel way that you can contact Johnny Ringo. Also, I'm going to go ahead and put down and let folks know that you can watch the Clem and Claw show every second and fourth Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Central, 6:30 on the West Coast, and I think it's like 4:30 Hawaiian time. Clem always loves to say Hawaiian time. I know, what about Alaskan? They're like 5:30. But half of our also we like to thank our viewers because we know half of our subscriber base are internationals, although the people in Europe and things of that nature. Usually at this point it's like 3, 4 in the morning. So
Yeah,
I'll get the analytics in the morning, like boom, we'll get a bump like
yeah,
around 10 a.m. By the time
makes
I
sense.
get the report, and it's like, oh, okay, well, our international friends, friends of the program, we like to thank y'all for watching and everything. And so again, we'll definitely have Johnny back on the show. I know it was kind of like a last minute spring, but normally we like to promote the guests coming on the show so folks can tune in and send their questions and stuff. But for this one, it was kind of like let's get them on the show because I knew I was gonna have no questions myself after
That's
this.
okay, man. Yeah, well, I mean,
So
next time you can have Monroe on. You know, she's a very interesting conversation if you've never talked to her.
yes, and then, so I
So
definitely have Monroe because it's definitely a legend. Because I tell anybody, I said to be a legend in this business, especially in catfight, all you really need to have is like 5 to 6 of them. That's it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
really low. The bar is low. This is one of the few fetishes, if you want to,
yeah.
where the bar is so low to be a legend.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. I no, I agree completely. You know what I mean? And like, but she'll give you a really good conversation. I mean, she'll probably blow your mind on a couple of things. She's smart.
I'm sure she will. And then, ladies and gentlemen, live from the parts unknown, for Clem who's traveling, and I know he'll be watching it and he'll be jealous because he's like, you went 2 hours. I like, yes. And
I
so
love
Clem,
Clem, man. I love Clem.
oh,
Clem's been with us as a fan since the very beginning, man. I mean, he is one of my favorite people. So
yeah.
if Clem Akufo ever needs anything, man, like he can ask me first because he's one of my favorite people. He really is.
Yes. So he
So
would definitely be here for the because I'm like, I've never had one where Clem never finished the show. I was like, wait a minute, what? It's
yeah,
like, but I mean, the fact that we've been doing this, I think the fall will be 3 years.
that's
We
amazing.
have done this show, so we've had
Yeah,
quite a few episodes. So, and this is one
long
of the
time.
ones when we first started right now, people we wanted on the show. You
Yeah,
was in that first draft, so I was like, I
that's funny.
want Johnny. I know it's catfights, but I want Johnny Ringo at
Oh
some
yeah,
point.
I
You
could
give
talk
that
about
other
that much. Oh man.
lens right. It's
Whew.
all right.
We got a bunch of stories we didn't get to. We'll have to get to next
Right.
time. So,
We can talk about it on the sidebar. The stuff we can't say all that. Because the FCC and then YouTube don't like it, certain stuff. So, ladies
I
and
know.
gentlemen, I'm going to play the outro video, and we was And Johnny, hold on for the sidebar, and we will see you guys later. God bless.
Take care, everybody.